on matters of arrest and detention, the High Court placed before itself an important question. Does Section 43-D within bracket 5 mathematically deny bail in every case allegations are prima facie true? To answer this, it juxtaposes the image of a bomber, an active threat, with that of a shepherd who has been forced to divulge information or finances. While both commit different offences under UAPA, attracting Section 43-D within bracket 5 to suggest that the second should be treated on a par with the first outrageous all notions of common sense. According to the High Court, provisions such as Section 43-D within bracket 5 were meant to prevent the easy release of persons such as the imaginary bomber and could not become insurmountable obstacles preventing the release of persons such as the shepherd. Ultimately, the High Court held both the law enforcement agency as well as the court must apply their mind before exercising their powers of arrest and sanctifying further detention to ensure that only in cases where a clear and present danger is evinced are persons taken into custody. Has the High Court in Fahad Shah's case delivered findings that may revolutionize the workings of UAPA? I would argue that it has not. To conclude that the anti-terror law did not extend as far as to punish alleged defamation of the country was not a radical finding. Similarly, arguments on proportionality by invoking a clear and present danger test to restrict arrests are not novel, as the High Court itself acknowledges the role of prior judicial decisions such as Joginder Kumar on this point. What about compensation or damages for wrongful arrest and confinement? What about accountability of the state to redress the errors that the accused would never reclaim? Fahad Shah's case offers nothing on these points of note. Perhaps such ideas are still too far off to fathom in a legal regime where courts are deciding whether a statutory rule can oust the fundamental right to life and liberty altogether. For better or for worse, the Indian state has witnessed a penchant for arbitrary deprivations of liberty since its founding, unwillingly equipping its courts with enough means to try and secure the promise of liberty. Using UAPA to present the alleged defamation of the country as an act of terror to justify the arrest and prolonged detention of a person is only footnote in that long, rather undistinguished history. What the judgment in Fahad Shah reminds us, as did the Supreme Court of India's decision in Vernon Gonsalves some months ago, is that there is no need for revolutionary returns by the courts to secure personal liberty in the face of oppressive laws and their enforcement. The path to hold the state accountable can be easily charted by those willing to do so. All it takes is a commitment to the underlying logic of state action being accountable to questions. At the same time, there is also the path of comparably lesser resistance for agencies and courts where the official version is accepted without questions. Stop.